Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jade and I'm so excited to be back with one more video about Finland. This is gonna be the first video of a series of videos that are gonna basically focus on buying your first home in Finland. And yes, you guessed it, I bought my first home in Finland and I realized that there's so many things that I wanna tell you about this process that I decided just to cut all these videos in different parts so that it's gonna be easier for you to digest and you can just jump to the parts or to the videos that you need the most or that you're interested in hearing the most. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking to you about, all the background story, like if you do wanna buy a house in Finland or if you're curious to hear more about the process. This is basically like all the story about how I decided to take the first step towards saving to buy a home in Finland. As always, if you want to jump to a specific part of the video, you can just go to the description and I'm gonna leave the timestamps for you. But if you are here to have a wonderful time with me, then you're welcome and we're just gonna get started. And so basically how everything started was when I was finishing my bachelor's degree. You guys know that I started my bachelor's degree back in 2015 and I finished in 2019. So by the moment that I was finishing my bachelor's degree, I really wasn't sure what to do next because, I had three options. I had the option of, okay, I finished my bachelor's degree, I get a work in Finland and I stay here. I make my life here and that's it. I had option B that it's like, okay, I finish my degree and I move back to Mexico and I do my life there. And option three was like, okay, well, it's not Mexico, it's not Finland, and I'm just gonna, try some luck abroad. Some of the options for me were Spain or Canada. And so, what I considered first is that at this point when I was finishing my bachelor's degree, I really thought that, okay, what is it that I would need for any of these plans? Like, first I had to consider my options. I had these different options, but then once I had these three different options, I thought like, okay, well, what are the common things that these three options have that I would need? And you guessed it, the answer was money. Independently of whether I decide to stay in Finland, go back to Mexico, or restart my life anywhere else in the world, I would need to have some money. By the time that I was graduating from my bachelor's, I thought that, I need to save some money. And so, there's just so many ways in which you can actually go in terms of saving money. You can just open a savings account, you can open an investments account, or there is the other option that is the option that I'm gonna talk to you about today, which is the home savings account. Now, personally, learning about the home savings account was one of the best things that happened to me in Finland because of all the benefits that having a house savings account can have. The house savings account in Finland, it's called asuntosäästötili, in case you don't know how it's called. But yeah, basically that's the account that exists. That's the way in which I decided to go. And if you may be wondering like, okay, Jade, but why did you decide to do so? Well, let me tell you. First of all, it was because in option A, that was just like, make a savings account, really like the percentage that you get of interest based on whatever amount of savings you're putting, it's really not that much. So, it was a great option, but it didn't really brought me like much benefit other than the small interest rate that you get paid every month or every year, depending on your bank. But that's it. Then I thought that, okay, well, an investments account, but I had already in the past opened an investments account and you really have to take a lot of decisions of, how much risk do you want to take? How much money do you want to put in your bank account every month? And in Finland, you have to pay a big percentage of taxes based on the profit of your investments. So I did that like a lot of years back. I opened this like investments account where I put like 50 euros a month for like 2 years. And I think I made something around like 100 euros profit, but obviously like a big bunch. I think like 30% goes, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a big bunch that comes just for taxes and then the rest comes to you. And so I thought that, okay, well, this is great, but I don't know how much risk do I want to take because obviously I don't want to lose my money. But also I want to make something, right? Like, the idea is to get as much as you can from whatever savings you're making. And then, ta-da! all of a sudden I learned about this Asuntos Astatili, which is the aim of this video, but I wanted to give you the backstory because Kali always wants to give the backstory. And I learned about the home savings account. At first, I had no clue what did it mean. I mean, of course, you put money there and you get a home, but how do you open it? What are the benefits? Why should I get it? Why should I not get it? Like, there were so many question marks, and so I did what any normal person would do, and I just went to the bank and I actually went to ask. So the Asuntos Astatili, or the home savings account, it's basically an account that you can open in Finland to start saving for your first home, for your very first home. And basically you have to be between 15 and 39 years of age, and you can just like open it. And basically the way in which it works is that you have to put in your account a minimum of 50 euros a month or 150 euros a quarter, or a maximum of 1,000 euros a month. And then you have to save for a minimum of 2 years, and then you have to save 10% of the value of your home. There's gonna be like more details that I'm gonna get into it, but basically it's really good because everyone can open, like to my knowledge, everyone can open a home savings account. At least I was a student at the time. I was under a student residence permit, and I was able to open my home savings account. So I opened such an account, and you have to make a plan. You know, in Finland, you can get different types of loan for getting your first home depending on where in Finland you are located. I am located in Kuopio, and so the maximum amount of loan that I could get to get my first home based on the savings that I make on this specific account, it's of 120,000 euros. So basically, my specific goal personally was to save 12,000 euros. 12,000. Yes, 12,000 euros. And so when I went to open this account, basically, like we made a plan in which I would like save 150 euros every month with the intention that after 7 years, I would actually have collected this 10% that, you know, would allow me to buy my first home. Now, the huge benefit about the home savings account in Finland is that once you have saved this 10% of the value of your home, basically the nation, the government, Finland, backs you with the rest of the loan. Because that's something that I really didn't know. Like, I didn't know that in Finland, in order to get like a bigger loan, you do need to have something that in Finnish it's called takaja, or like your guarantee. And if you do not have any like property or cars or things that you can put as a guarantee for the loan that you are asking to get a home, basically you can't get a loan. Except if you do it through the home savings account, in which you basically save for the 2 years minimum, or in my case it was planned initially for 7 years. And then when you collect this 10%, basically because you made the savings through this specific account, you, like, the government backs you up with the rest of the loan without you needing to have anything, you know, to give as a guarantee. And this was like so beautiful because, you know, I come from Mexico, like all my family lives there. And really, I just didn't have anyone, like anyone or anything to work as my guarantee for, you know, any other bigger loan. So when I went to the bank and I learned about all these things, I thought like, oh my God, this is such a beautiful opportunity. Why? Because if you're a foreigner as me, or if you're an international student in Finland, or if you are anyway, just a Finn. No, not just a Finn, but you know that I speak mainly for the benefits and like, you know, what international students can, you know, the experiences and the things that they can get and do and have in Finland. So if you are an international and you are a student here, like the biggest benefit that I saw there is that, okay, I make a plan. Eventually, if I stay in Finland, I will at some point want to have my own home. If I move abroad, I will need money. And if I move back to Mexico, I will need money. And basically how the home savings account works is that once you make the plan, you start putting your money there. And they give you like a bigger interest rate for the savings that you make in the first 2 years, which is like pretty sweet. I mean, in the first year that I will make this in another video, but I got quite a bit. I think like the first year, like the first 2 months, I got like, obviously I had so little, so I got like 10 cents. But I think that after that, I got something like 20 euros, and then I got something like 30 euros. And in the very, very end, I think that I got something like 100 euros like extra. So, you know, it's more than what I would have received in a normal savings account. And since it was not an investment account, it was something that I would anyways use to buy a home, then that was great. Those were kind of like the bigger benefits that I saw about using a home savings account, because it just got me covered in everything. Like if I decided to stay in Finland, then I would have actually been gathering for those 2 years, or until I completed those minimum of 2 years, or in my case that I planned for 7 years, towards actually getting something of my own in Finland, knowing that I had no one to act as, you know, the guarantee giver, and I didn't have any property or any car, or any other thing that would have served for that purpose in that case. And then if I were to, you know, not be in Finland, then you can always close this account and you can take the money out of there, and you can, you know, just close the account and go wherever you want to go. And if that was to be the case, then that would have been good for me. So those were the benefits that I saw. Like if I were not to stay in Finland, I anyways was saving the money. I anyways was receiving the interest. And that would have been a good amount of money that I could have to restart my life wherever else I wanted to be. And if I decided to stay in Finland, then that was the money that I would use to, you know, get my first home, which eventually was what happened. So these are basically kind of like what is the home savings account. These are kind of like the brief story of why I decided to get a home savings account. And it was beautiful. Now, the only thing that it's important to remember is that this loan, or this like the loan that you can get through the home savings account, only accounts for a specific limit. So as I mentioned in this video, me living in Kuopio, the maximum amount of loan that I could get through the home savings account, it's of 120,000. That's why my goal was to save 12,000 euros. But this is like in different, it varies depending on where in Finland you are. For example, if you live in Turku or Tampere, the maximum amount of loan that you can get is 140,000 euros. If you live in Espoo, Vantaa or Kauniainen, the maximum amount of loan that you can get through the home savings account is of 160,000 euros. And then if you do live in the Helsinki area, you can get up to 215,000 euros. And that affects like the percentage that you obviously have to save. So like, you know, in Kuopio, like living in the rest of Finland, I needed to save the 10%, so 12,000. But obviously if you were, for example, to live in Tampere, that 10% would have been like 14,000. So you just adapt those numbers depending on the area where you live, because obviously the price of the houses differ depending on where you are. Now, the only thing that I actually like didn't know, but I will dive deeper in the next video, it's really about all what it's behind getting a home, because it gets like much more trickier. And actually there was a point in which, you know, first I thought like, if the government can like, you know, back me a loan of up to 120,000 euros, that's fantastic. But then you actually have to take into consideration the actual homes that you can get with that amount, because even though that amount might sound like a lot of money, it might not be. In my case, I think that I'm very happy with the purchase that I made, with the apartment that I found. But there was a point in this like process of buying my first home where I thought like, wait a moment, is this gonna be enough? Anyway, it's a great way for saving money. If you decide to stay in Finland, it's a great way to, you know, start saving towards something bigger, like your first property that you can own and have and make your home in this country. And ultimately, if you start saving in this account and you decide not to stay here, I think that's like a beautiful way, you know, to have a backup plan in case you stay here, but also to, you know, get some cash saved to restart your life wherever else is your next destination. I know that I repeated this part like a lot of times, but I just wanted to make sure that, you know, it's clear the benefits of why I chose to start saving for a home in Finland and just like the benefits that it would have brought me, whether I decided to stay in Finland or not. So yeah, this is the first part. In the next video, I'm gonna be talking about exactly the process that was to start saving to get these 10% in order to be able to get the loan for my first home, and actually the process that it was to start looking for houses, to discuss this with the bank. So if you are curious about learning all of the things about getting your first home in Finland and actually learning more about like the actual process that I went through, then you do not want to miss the next video. So until then, I hope you have a beautiful start of the year, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!